Alright, hello everybody and welcome back to another Fix It video, and I'm back with another patio heater. And actually this is my original patio heater, the one I got before, that one you can see in the back, which is the one in the back that I fixed in another video, is working perfectly great. This one, however, decided not to work on me when we had an outdoor party in December and it was actually cold, and we had planned on setting up this area that you can see behind you. We had a fire pit that's over there, little potbelly stove. We had one patio heater on one corner, and this was supposed to be the other corner to make it all nice and cohesive and warm, and this guy did not turn on. So, been messing with it a little bit. As you can see, the top, I have taken the top off. I was trying to access more of it. This is the top to it. It's just unscrewed right now. I can't get the pilot to light. I actually did get it to light like once, very low, and then it went out and wouldn't light again. I have propane in here. I do not think this is a tip sensor issue, because of the fact that usually when it's a tip sensor, you can get the pilot to light, but when you remove the fuel and to turn it on, let the pilot light the rest of the apparatus, it does not, the pilot will not stay lit. This pilot doesn't even really light. I have a feeling that the gas line or the propane line up here is clogged. I tested the line that goes from the tank up by disconnecting it here. I have a string actually tied around it. The reason why is I disconnected it from there and I didn't want it to fall all the way down and have a problem getting it. And I disconnected it and there was propane coming out the top of it. So I think that part of the line is good. I think it's a mechanism somewhere in here. I watched a couple videos on people trying to unclog their lines in this. So right now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to remove the propane tank, tip this thing down to give it a better working area, and try to unscrew more of this so I can access some pieces that might be clogged and see if we can get this thing fixed. All right, so what I've done is I've disconnected the propane tank from it. I have it's laying down so I can work with it better, because the goal is to get this outside shield off to give me more room to work on what's in here. There's an access panel in the back, but as you can see, it's just not big enough to get to some of the pieces you need to get to. And even if you had to replace the tip sensor in here, it's way up here in the corner, and it's got screws that come in from this side, so you couldn't even get to it if you wanted to. Not that I think that's the issue, but there's also a line that maybe I'll show you when we open this up further, that where I've watched in the other YouTube videos, that you can unscrew and pull out, and that's usually what gets clogged up. So I'm going to try to get some screws out of here and see if we can get this thing more accessible so I can work on it. Now the bottom's only being held on by just one more screw, so hopefully this will lift up and I have enough room to play with that it doesn't really stretch the propane line, or I'll have to get something else set up over here to set it on. Perfect. Plenty of room to work. This thing is very sharp, so be careful if you have to do this to your own. There we go though. It has disconnected. Okay, let's see if I can get the camera in to a better angle. Okay, so I hope this is visible on the viewfinder. It looks pretty good. This line right here is the one that is apparently very known to get clogged. It is a metal line, it's a gas line, and you gotta be careful not to kink it, but there's a screw here that's like the locking screw that you're supposed to be able to back out, pull this piece out, and kind of get some gunk out of this tube that goes up all the way into the gas mechanism that's up here, as well as where the pilot comes out, which is right here. So hopefully this will loosen up and have gunk in it. Loosened. Let's see. There we go. Pull it right out. Did not bend it. There is some gunk in there. Let's see if I can get an angle to show. It's this line right here. There is some gunk in there, not a crazy amount. I'm gonna go get some skewers or something like that and try to pull everything out of there. All right, first I'm gonna try just tipping it up. seeing if anything falls out of there. Doesn't seem like much. I definitely felt some initial resistance, but nothing major is falling out of there. I mean, there's a pile of rust on the chair. Oop, you guys can't even see what I'm doing. There's a pile of rust on the chair right there. There we go. But I think that's from the unit itself. I don't think that's from this particular line. Now, I wonder if I have a pipe cleaner inside, because this thing has, I don't know if you can see if I can get the focus in the area. There's where the pilot is, there's a bend down here where it, you can see it right there. It tees down off into the main valve. Very well could be something clogged right up in there in that corner. Let's see if I can even feel air coming through. All right, going in for a handheld view as well. Let me get the focus back out. And just so you guys can get a better idea of what it is, this is the top of the thing. It's you know, upright like that, laying down right now just for access. This is the pipe that I pulled out of here. There's you can see the screw right here, which holds that in place. This is the gas line. It's got a small hole at the very end of it as well. So while I am trying to clean out this whole mechanism, don't forget to try to clean the end of, there we go, there's a small hole that hopefully you can see from this angle. I don't know how well it's going to focus on that, but the end of this pipe as well, there you go, you can see it. So I'm going to try to make sure that's clean and this whole section is clean, and then put this thing back together and see if that brings life back to this patio heater. The smallest skewer I have, as well as the end of this nice yellow pipe cleaner. It's lovely. Kids' art projects. Hopefully they don't miss just one. Has a little wire in it, but that wire is still actually even too big to fit in the hole on that orifice. I have some wire brushes, as you can see. I'm just going to try to take one strand of this wire brush just to see if I can make sure this hole is clear. The risky run on doing this is shoving something up there. If it was clogged and getting it stuck further, but hopefully that is not the case. It's such a small hole, it's even hard to tell that it's actually a hole. I definitely got a push there. I think that's the best I can hope for as of now. Let's put it back together. All right, so this thing it's set back up. The top is still not on it. I'm going to be out of shot because I'm having you focus up here. Right here is where the igniter is going to be. Let me put the propane tank back in it and see if we can get a flame up there. There we go. We have flame. I don't know if you can see that, and I don't know what'll happen if I try to turn this on without the protective guard. We're gonna find out though. Sorry, I'm blocking the camera. It's very hard to see, but there's definitely a flame up there. Now, that did not continue to stay lit. However, let's see if it'll light again. Ooh, chair. Chair so I can get in a better position to see this thing. Pilot is lit. When I remove fuel, it does turn off. So there is a possibility that in the time that this has been out here, that the tip sensor has gone faulty. That's a possibility. I don't want to screw this back on if that's the case. I do have a replaceable tip sensor inside if that's it. One way we can find out is to just jump the tip sensor together, or it might just be that it hasn't run in a while and it needs the top on it to actually make the catch the fumes in the right way. So let me put the top back on this thing and we'll go from there. All right, top is back on the way it's supposed to be. And in case you're wondering, there's just 4 screws around the base of the top here, and 2 on the other side. The whole thing just lifts right off. It's not a big deal. I have everything on except for I didn't put all the screws in the top of this. I put 2 of them in just to hold it in for testing, because in case I do have to replace that tip sensor. But let's see if we can recreate Pilot. Pilot has been recreated successfully. Now, before I go jumping to it might be a tip sensor, this is farther ahead than it was before, which means I did have a blockage in the fuel line. So that seems to have been fixed. And often with these, if you've left them out for a while and haven't used them, you're supposed to hold the Pilot for 30 seconds to a minute to like heat up the element. I don't know if it's to heat up the element, it's to heat up some type of sensor in there that lets it know that when you let go that it's supposed to be on. Because when I let go of this Pilot button, the light should stay, or the Pilot light should stay on while I turn it to high, and then it launches the rest of the heater. So we just hold this for about a minute. You can just hold your hold these other very large. I didn't pay attention to it how big it's supposed to be. All right, here we go. I'm letting it go. Pilot went out. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so I think I have the tip sensor jumped. Let's see what happens. Pilot light is on. Pilot light staying lit. Voila! So apparently, yet another tip sensor that went faulty. I might try to. Let's see what happens when you. For those who don't know, I broke down a tip sensor in the last video and showed how it worked. Check this out. Let's see what happens when we disconnect this. Nice. So that's the reason that they're important. Is if this wasn't just jumped with a wire, what that is showing that if the tip sensor fell over, or if this thing fell over and the tip sensor de-engaged, it would automatically cut this out so that it wouldn't actually light the house on fire, which is a good thing. So the nice thing is this thing has been fixed to the point where there's no more fuel blockage. The propane can actually get to where it needs to go. You just saw the heater work. I just need to either replace the tip sensor or find out if I just didn't have it connected all the way. So let's try that again. So for the time being, I just have the tip sensor, the replacement one, mounted on the outside of it just to test to see if this is going to work. And it's in the right orientation that it'll work, so I don't tear this thing apart if it's not going to fix the problem. But let's see. There it goes. It scared me for a minute. Wasn't going to pilot. Oh, it's still lit. There we go. So let me get into this thing, replace that tip sensor appropriately, and have a fully functioning and safe patio heater. And I have a little bit less working room because I left the whole upper assembly on this time, but I did just remove the top collar screws and pull the unit up, which, as you can see, works. You just got to make sure that this stays supported. In case you wanted to see how to replace a tip sensor in this version, which is different than the other one I had done in the video. But once you get to access to the side, you just take out these 2 screws and replace it with your new tip sensor. So let's do that. All right, took a little finagling to get this thing back up with the top on because it was a little bit heavy, so sorry you didn't see that on camera in case you really were dying to, but you didn't get to. My apologies. So back together now. Let's get these new tip sensor wires plugged in. I'll put the back on when we confirm that this is working. Pilot is on. Pilot is still lit. And there we go. And we are back in business. So there you go. 2 different patio heaters. There was that one there that you saw me fix a couple weeks ago. Now you got this one. It's just brought back to life. So thanks for watching, guys. Until next time.